Good morning. It's June 7th, a very nice, cool, and pleasant Monday morning. Unfortunately, I don't have my new microphone on. It wouldn't connect. And yesterday I charged it and it seemed to charge fully, but this morning it acts like it doesn't have a charge. So I'm trying to charge it again. I have a bad feeling about it, actually. I'm worried that there's something wrong with the mic itself. But anyway, that means I'm back to just me and the mic on the phone, which has worked fine as long as it's not too horribly windy. This is Monday, so this is the day I walk along the creek. I'm going to start, I'll vary it a little bit, but this won't be nearly as long as the last couple of days' walks, I don't think. More like 45 minutes instead of an hour. We had a little rain this morning. It's about, well, I don't know what it is right now. It was 13 when I checked the temperature earlier. It's a bit warmer than that now. Going to 23 today, they say. It's an ordinary riding day for me when I get back. I don't know if I'll go out to the golf club to ride today or not. I haven't decided yet. I do have some stuff I need to do on the home computer. Part of the day. The big news is I booked my second vaccine shot this morning. I think I could have gone through a drive-through, but I chose to do an appointment. I'm mixing the vaccines. Getting the Pfizer this time. I had the AstraZeneca the first time. After doing some reading on that, you have a choice here, and that's what I chose. Hope I have sound on Facebook. If anybody's watching, let me know. Hope I have sound on YouTube. I always have sound on YouTube. It's just sometimes the feed will go down because of shaky internet connection. Don't walk along here all that often. Oh, there's somebody from Vancouver. Hi, Kirk. Hopefully my lapel mic works tomorrow. Otherwise I may have to invoke the warranty and see about getting a replacement. It certainly does make the sound better. It doesn't eliminate all the wind noise, but it does make it better. Overall sound, I think. You're doing some landscaping there. We could use some landscaping. Lush Lawn. LushLawnOnline.ca. Well, maybe I should check them out. Oh, there's Roger. Yay, got sound on both Facebook and YouTube this morning. That's nice. It was raining when I woke up, but the sun has come out since. There's supposed to be showers today. So today will just be along the creek, my usual Monday walk. That's why this is called Creeky Monday. Some Mondays are creakier than others. Didn't sleep very well last night for some reason. It wasn't entirely because the cat decided to jump on the bed and try to get under the covers at one point. I don't usually get on the dike here, that's why I thought I'd do it this way, and I'm going to reverse my usual path. Something going on over there. Oh, mower, looks like. I was looking at my health app, and apparently I averaged 12,000 steps a day last week, which is up from 11,000 steps a day the week before. Some of those longer walks really add up. Can't see much of the creek now through the various trees and things. There's a little wild rosebush down there. The sound of chainsaws in the morning. This is the birds, this is the chainsaw, or whatever that is. I can hear it, can't see it though. Somebody's taking down a tree, maybe? I thought I saw something fall over there. Over there. Trimming at least something. Put out a podcast yesterday. Christian Cameron, who also writes as Miles Cameron, he writes fantasy, historical novels, science fiction. Interesting guy. He's roughly my age, a little younger. He served in the US Navy, used to ride backseat of a fighter bomber, was an actual spy, like the develop intelligence sources on the ground kind of spy. So his first novels, which he wrote with his father, who was also an author, were spy novels. His latest book is actually science fiction though. He's got about 40 novels out. He lives in Toronto, although he's from the States. Originally, as you'd expect from someone who served in the US Navy. I recommend the interview. It was a good one, which you can find at theworldshapers.com. Meanwhile, I'm still working on The Tangled Stars, my space opera. Hopefully I can get a good chunk done today. There's the creek. I haven't seen anybody with a dog yet. That's very unusual. Usually there's dogs. If you're going to see anybody, they'll have a dog, but I've seen two people without dogs. Still right down that street, Garnet Street. This is the bowl. I don't know what the proper name is. Part of the flood control system where kids like to toboggan. Not this time of year. Well, second guy on a bicycle I've run into. Somebody's watching these the other day and told me I walked fast. Could walk faster, but not carrying this thing. I think I do about 6 kilometers an hour in these walks. Oh, there's a dog. I knew there'd be one eventually. Considering the wide-angle nature of the iPhone camera, I know I can see them better than you can on the camera. But red-winged blackbird up there on the power line. Hi, Miriam from India. Another lovely day here. One thing I didn't do for the podcast this week was a full transcript yet. Those things take time, and I've decided rather than tie up an entire day of my weekend doing them, I would get the recording up, which doesn't take very long at all, and then putter around with the transcript over the next 2 or 3 days. So it'll be up this week sometime. As far as I can tell from my statistics, very few people are going there to read the transcript. People prefer, when they go to a podcast, to listen to the podcast. I'm actually somebody who actually prefers to read all of my media. I've never even liked TV news. I'd much rather read stories to get information. Which is probably why I've always been focused on having a transcript when most podcasts don't bother, because it is a lot of work. But I use an automated transcription service called Sonics, sonics.ai, which does a pretty good job. To record, I normally use a service called CleanFeed, cleanfeed.net, which gives you pretty high quality recordings. Or I've been looking at something called Zencaster because it records both sides of the conversation as separate files, which would certainly make it easier to balance levels and clean up one side and needs it more than the other. So I may switch to that, or at least experiment with it. Trouble is you have to pay for it in order to make the length of recording that I need for a podcast. Supposed to be really pleasant temperatures all week, mid-20s. More rain in the forecast. At least last time I looked there was. For tomorrow and Thursday, I think they were showing the most possibility of rain. So there's the Elphinstone Bridge, some ducks down there in the water. It's all park over here. Probably really a floodplain. That's why it's nothing built there, but we do have a lot of green space in Regina. As I've demonstrated with my walks, which have largely been in green space, it sometimes feels like. Go downtown once in a while. It's always a bit more fraught because people look at you funny. Only been sworn at once. But he was drunk at like 11 o'clock in the morning, so didn't take him too seriously. Actually, Christian Cameron, whom I interviewed for this podcast, said it's one of his favorite interviews ever, which is really nice. So it should get lots of downloads. bridge. I hope my lapel mic works after being charged again. I don't understand. It was plugged in, but it was plugged into just a USB port on my desktop computer, which was sleeping most of the time, so possibly that's why it didn't get a charge. That's what's going on. I'd like to cross here, but to wait for a break in the traffic. Yeah. Oh, going down to the crosswalk. I'll be there by the time I could jaywalk. Yeah. So I won't jaywalk. Always better not to, really, I guess, but. We'll go across here. Then I'll walk back down to the sidewalk I wanted to get to. Senior Center. I think I've only ever been in that little building once. And I don't remember what it was for. We just came up the other side of this street. Isn't that exciting? Cool breeze. Especially when the sun dips behind the clouds again. Okay. This will walk us by the Neil-Bockwell Center and a little bit of public art out here. The Neil-Bockwell Center is the home of the Art Gallery of Regina, and they do a lot of art classes in there. So you see, if you line these up, they kind of work like that. The cutout is down there. And then there's another one over here. Please do not climb on it, it says. I've never gone to look to see if it has a name on it. Looks like there should be, but it also looks like it's supposed to have a plaque. The plaque is missing. Yeah, I think it used to have a plaque. But the plaque is missing. Please do not climb on the art, even though it looks like it has seats on it. I can see why people do that. And I just got my feet wet, probably. Walking in the grass. Didn't really think about that. Not just from rain, but they would have been sprinkling here too, it looks like. There's some like geese. Always geese. There's the Neil-Bockwell Center. They give art classes in there. There's the art gallery. I've rehearsed in there years ago. We used to have our Regina Lyric Light Opera. Annual meetings in there sometimes. City of Regina logo up there. Actually, it's kind of an old City of Regina logo. That's the more modern one on the side of that building there. There's some more dogs. That's a lot of dogs. That's probably dog walkers. People who walk your dog for you. Playground. Currently kidless. And the field with the football. So technically it's a football field, but what I remember it from was when we tried Alice in youth soccer. They played there, but Alice's interest in soccer was very low, and so was mine, so it didn't last very long. She was very young. She and her friend would rather sit out there and play with dandelions and things rather than paying any attention to what the game was going on. Oh, I forgot to point out the giant beaver back there. Oh, well. I'll be there next time. So yeah, that's the field there. Sports field. Let's cut across the grass here. Stay ahead of the dogs. Grass being mowed. There's a lot of it to mow. I mowed our grass yesterday. There's not much of it, and it's pretty patchy and scraggly looking. We need new sod and have for years. Very shaded yard. And I've tried, we killed a lot of grass during renovations because there was a dumpster out front and a temporary plywood walkway that cuts straight across the grass, and the grass under that has never come back. Even though I planted a couple of times, I've tried planting new grass. So it's pretty sad looking. We did have somebody come and fertilize it, but I don't really think it's worth it anymore until we can replace it. But this summer's project, or it's going to be fall at this rate, is a deck. And a small extension, the downstairs half bath in it. Which will also, that little extension will also shelter the deck to make it much more private and sheltered. We have new neighbors. We haven't met them yet, but somebody's bought the house next to ours. Same people have lived there for 40 years at least, but they've gone into care homes, and the house has been bought. I suspect it's going to be torn down. I hope not. That wouldn't surprise me. It's on a corner lot and quite desirable location. And the old house, I doubt anything has been done to it in many years. Could be they'll keep the house and renovate it inside. We just don't know. We haven't met them yet. Just know there's a sold sign on it. For some reason they have these speed control things telling you what your speed is. I guess I do know why. There's often been people tend to speed along this stretch of road alongside the park. And of course, it being a park, you do have people crossing out of the park, get to the other side. And when there's ball games and things going on, like at the ball field up here, quite a few people can be right along the road. This is the more boring side of the walk because it's all straight lines. Once I get back down to the other side, then we follow the nice winding path that I followed before, only going in the opposite direction. Saskatchewan Express building ahead of me that I've mentioned several times, like every time I go by it. Used to be a school. Sask Express is a performance school and performance group. Normally they have a group of young people that tours the province in the summer. And they usually used to have at least a winter company as well. And they also give dance lessons and musical theater lessons, stuff like that. And I know the artistic director is Danny Balkwell, who very first show I did with Regina Lyric Light Opera, The Music Man, back in 1989, which is also where I met Margaret Ann, who would later be my wife, though I didn't know it at the time. He played the teenage boy. You rotten kid, ya? If you know the show. I can't remember his name. A character name. So it was, he went on to have a professional career, and he was in things like Mamma Mia in Toronto and stuff like that. Saw him at, I think it was in Honk at Globe once as well. Then he's been an artistic director here for a few years. He's also done some big winter shows. They have a little theater in there, it used to be the gym. I've never done one of them, and maybe I'm more focused on Alice the last while. It looks like they're getting ready to go boating over there. Say. Yeah, it must be a school group. Phys Ed, going out on the creek. Alice did that once. Telling them not to fall in, not to push them around, all that sort of thing. I never canoed on the creek. The most interesting place I've ever been in a canoe was Emerald Lake up in the mountains. It's quite a wonderful hotel up there, resort. We've been a couple of times. Last time we went, we said, oh, we should do this every year, and we haven't been back since, and that was, what, coming up on 8 years ago. So. Would like to go back. Don't know if I could climb up some of the hills that we climbed last time. We climbed up to, what's the name of the I can't remember the name of the glacier. There's a glacier up above there that you can climb up to. Hike up along. Keeping an eye out for bears. But seems unlikely I will want to do that again. Creek with some ducks on it. Still looks quite high. The level has been up. thought it was because of the rain, but now I guess it's just what they're letting through the spillway. Well, still probably because of it's all about keeping the lake at a certain level, and then whatever comes downstream is whatever they let through. More dogs. That's the shortcut. If I do that, it turns into a really short walk. So I'll stay on the path. Morning. Now tomorrow I'll probably walk somewhere new because I'm likely to go out to Wascana Country Club first thing. That means I'll be in the car and can stop somewhere along the way. That's when I went to the university last week, and I will do the university again someday. Only during the summer. I don't want to walk around. There's a bunch of students there, assuming they have students again this fall. I don't know what their plans are. I don't know why they wouldn't. Well, I do sort of. If they have a lot of international students, they may find it harder to get here. So they might want to keep it online for international students as much as for anything else. But some of that going on at the University of Toronto, where Alice goes. Joggers and mowers. Mowers and joggers. And dandelions. Our most popular wildflower. Well, popular maybe isn't the right word. Most ubiquitous. Oh, sure, they're a weed, but they are a wildflower. Bridge. I'm going to cross the footbridge and then have to cross another footbridge. I could avoid footbridges today, but then you don't walk along part of my traditional creek path, so. Bit of a breeze, so I'm sure there's wind noise, but again, my lapel mic did not work this morning. It seemed to say it wasn't charged, even though the charger pack said it was charged, so I don't know what to make of that. So I've got it plugged in again. This time to a proper outlet as opposed to just the USB connection on the desktop computer. And let's see if that makes a difference. And if not, I'm going to have to send it back on a warranty replacement, and it means I won't have it again for a while. But I got this far without one. I don't suppose it's too horrible. I do hold the thing up at basically mouth level. So the microphone is at the same level as my mouth. It's just on the other side, of course, because it uses the microphone with the camera is not the one used by the phone. Hello, pigeons. Too lazy to fly? There you go. There's the creek in one direction. There's the creek in the other direction. There's the pigeons. See a Canadian flag up there, so I'm getting ready for Canada Day, which is now less than a month away, July 1st. Very thin ice. Flag's coming, judging by the speed at which those voices are coming up behind me. Or joggers. There's bikes. Hello, Theodore. And that's Salov. Probably about 20 minutes left in this walk. And of course, it is one I've done in various ways many times now, but that's okay. The weather changes, the leaves change, and you see different dogs. Back at the Elphinstone Bridge. Hey, I think there's actually somebody playing horseshoes over there. That's the first on these walks. I often point out the horseshoe pitch, but I've never seen anybody on it before. Nobody over here playing baseball though. A couple of diamonds here. This is more of a undeveloped field, and then the next one is quite developed with lights and everything. And there's an even bigger one over there. That one has lights and a few bleachers, and then the next one over has lights and more bleachers. There's a clubhouse over there, concession stands, and all that kind of stuff. There's a jet over there. I think it's the Tudor, one of the training jets from Canadian Forces Base Moose Jaw, which is where they train fighter pilots. Looked like a small jet, not a commercial jet, so it's probably a training jet or a fighter plane. Didn't quite have the sound of an F-18. It's probably one of the smaller training jets. I said Tudors. I don't actually know if they're using Tudors anymore for training. The Tudor jets are what the Snowbirds, the precision flying team, flies. I have this vague idea they may have gotten a more modern jet for training purposes. So there's the most developed of the fields. Ken McLeod Field. Not sure who Ken McLeod was, not being a local ball type, but that's his field. Be a nice place to sit and watch a game on a beautiful Sunday evening, possibly with lots of mosquito repellent. I haven't really seen mosquitoes yet, but they must be coming. They always come. Seen wasps. They plague barbecues and outdoor dining later in the summer, especially. All these flowers, all these bushes are flowering along here. There we go, home of Regina Kiwanis National Little League, Kiwanis Waterfall Park. Ken McLeod probably had something to do with Little League, would be my guess. So they have concession stands and clubhouse space there and all that kind of thing. Last time I came by the waterfall park itself, the waterfall was not running very much. That was just yesterday. Apparently there's a path down there by the river. I never walked along that. I thought it just ran into the bank. Well, save that for a future walk. Yeah, that's definitely a small jet. Can't see it through the trees. Well, the waterfall's running a little better, so we might as well take a turn down through Waterfall Park. It is, of course, not a natural waterfall. Well, it's gravity and it's water, so I guess that makes it a natural waterfall, but it's not a naturally occurring waterfall. It's really a fountain. All water's recycled through it, I assume. Either that or it comes straight out of the creek and goes straight back into the creek. Maybe that's even more likely now that I think about it. The flowers are being planted everywhere, starting to grow up. Ooh, I love the smell of those pines. Yeah, sometimes it has more water than that. But still, it's pleasant. And on my first walks, this was solid ice down here in this pool. That's how long I've been doing this now. Well, as I said off the top, I'm getting my second vaccine shot on Thursday morning. And I had to look up to see when I got my first shot to see if I was eligible, because as of today, it's people who had it, were 65 and over, or had it before March 22nd. And my first shot was in March 16th. That's just about the time I started doing these walks. This time I have an appointment. I'm not doing the drive-through. And I'm getting the Pfizer vaccine. So I'm doing the mixing types. I was reading about it. More likely to have mild side effects, but also some preliminary, not very solid, but preliminary evidence and reason to think that mixing the two might actually give you a even stronger immune response. And of course there's that little blood clot issue, which isn't a huge concern, but for the second shot especially. And also not for older people, of which I am one apparently. But anyway, I decided to be a bit of a guinea pig and get the mixed vaccine. You can choose Pfizer, Moderna, or AstraZeneca for your second shot. So, Thursday morning at 8:30, and Thursday at 11, it's the annual general meeting for Sask Books, the Association of Saskatchewan Publishers, of which I am now a full member. Waterfall, Shadowpaw Press, Waterfall Press, Waterfall Park, Shadowpaw Press. My publishing company has published enough now that it's a full member, so I get the privilege of paying more for my membership. But also, I believe I will be likely elected to the board. We'll see. I don't know if it's, competitive, or if it's by acclamation, or what the numbers look like. So I'll let you know on Friday, assuming that I don't feel fatigued and feverish from my second shot. I finally decide to skip a day, which I haven't done yet. It has to happen eventually. So far I have a very unbroken, that's redundant. It's either unbroken or it isn't unbroken. You can't have degrees of unbrokenness. One more look at the creek. This is Creeky Monday. Oh, look at the blue reflecting in the blue. Reflecting blue in the water. This is a big old tree. Okay, do I go back along the dike? Or go down into the streets? I think I'll go back along the dike today. Not as far as from where I came up, but one of the other stairs down, which comes up before that. Always try to not point the camera directly at people, although with the angle being so wide on the lens, you usually see them anyway. So I'll go down here. Oh, apparently that tree down there that was flowering not that long ago has gone on to the next stage. There's piles of seeds down there, as you'll see in a minute. It's sort of like snowdrift, and it'll be seeds from the tree, I think the tree in the middle there, which was very beautiful when it flowered. See, I'm pretty sure those all came off this tree, and some others around here. I mean, there's others. Well, think actually could be ones along the edges and not that tree. I think that tree must have contributed some of it anyway. Definitely didn't come off the spruces, I know that much. There's Colleen. Good morning. It is a lovely day. You've come in at the very end of this, but only got about 3 blocks to go here, 4 blocks to go. It's been a lovely walk along the creek. Nice temperature, although I still managed to work up a sweat because I do walk fairly briskly. I think this time I'll walk all the way up to Leopold Crescent. There's that lovely house at the head of this street. Big one. Nice to see the flowers coming out. People planting them and showing up in gardens and here and there. When I walk around the lake on Friday, I expect that the formal gardens in front of the Legislative Building will be fully planted because they were working on it last Friday. So you can look forward to that on Friday. Hopefully it's not raining. And maybe next weekend, or soon anyway, I'll go back out along Dudney and start at Government House. And they have beautiful formal gardens there. Edwardian gardens, which the kind of gardens that were in vogue when Government House was built in the Edwardian era. And it's a museum now that's restored to that era in the museum part of it. It's also where the offices of the Lieutenant Governor are. There's also a more modern wing, the Queen Elizabeth II wing, which has meeting space and that sort of thing. And there's a beautiful ballroom which was built in the 20s where the symphony likes to do Baroque concerts. I've performed in there more than once. That's the big house I was talking about, the head of the street. I like these row houses over here too. I often point them out. So we'll just walk straight toward that to give you a good look at it. And then I go to the right. It's big old elms. We lose them every once in a while. One will get taken down for disease or other reasons. But it held in remarkably well. Well, maybe the seeds are coming off the elm trees and not the one in the middle, because certainly we get them in the gutters about now. And they turn into mush over time, a rather unattractive, sludgy mush in the gutters. Okay, one more block and I'll be home. Half a block, really. Difference between Leopold Crescent and Angus Crescent, where I live. I haven't mentioned for a while, this house years ago was used as the location for a TV movie starring Linda Carter of Wonder Woman fame, the old TV show. So they disguised this part of the Crescents as an American town with, American post boxes and mailboxes is what I'm looking for, and sheriff's cars and that kind of thing. And I think they used both the external, and they also shot on location inside the house as well. Can't remember the name of the show, and that would have been in the mid-90s probably, because I was living over on Angus Crescent. I wasn't living, on Garnet Street. I hadn't moved over here yet. Alrighty, my traditional stop sign for stopping, so it was almost an hour. Kind of surprised me. So thank you for walking with me live if you did, and thanks for watching the replay if that's what you've done. And I'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.